Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're opening up a set of sources that are, well, they're chilling. They detail the complete collapse of a society.
And more than that, the calculated, terrifying escape of 4 key individuals from that collapse.
Exactly. We have a chronicle, some fragmented memories, and the most important piece, a document that lays out the terms of their dark pact.
It's an alliance for survival.
So our mission today is to conduct a kind of forensic analysis of this group. They're known only as the Pale Council. First, we're going to reconstruct their story, how they fled certain death to achieve this perverse form of immortality.
And once we've laid that groundwork, we really have to dig in. We have to analyze their motives, the mechanics of this pact, and what it really means to become, as the source says, enemies of fate.
Right, and this isn't just a historical look, Kick. The sources present this as an immediate, high-stakes event.
Oh, absolutely. You're watching a world just dissolve. And when that happens, the choice isn't just how do we live, it becomes what part of our humanity do we have to consume to keep existing?
A chronicle of an unnatural exchange. That's a perfect way to put it.
That's what it is.
Okay, so let's start with the backdrop. The world was already dying. The old rulers, the wise red ones, were long gone.
And replaced by leaders who were strong, but deeply unwise. Their rule just led to ruin.
And it wasn't just political ruin. The sources describe something systemic, almost supernatural. Milk soured in an instant, grass grew sharp like blades.
And in the darkest corners, flesh walked without a soul. The world itself was rejecting life.
This level of decay, it draws attention, doesn't it?
It does. It drew the attention of Hinekora, the mother of death. She cast her net, so to speak, for the rulers who caused all this.
But 4 of them slipped through.
4 of them. The Chronicle is very specific about this. They were savvy enough, or maybe just monstrous enough, to find the holes in that net. They fled into darkness.
Beyond her reach.
Beyond the immediate reach of death's reckoning, yes. And that single choice defines everything they do next.
So let's meet these 4 figures. They're each shaped by a different kind of ruin. First up is Uriel, who becomes the feral lord.
Right. For him, it started with a drought. The rains just stopped, the river dried up.
And his solution to save his farms was extreme. He used the blood of beasts instead of water.
Which was more than just a desperate measure. It was a corruption. You can't do that without consequences. That blood, it carried an infection.
An infection that spread to the crops. They grew into these thorned, grotesque things.
The whole environment mirrored his own internal decay. He literally became feral to survive in the world he created.
And we have a source, the Salted Earth Memory, that gives us this grisly detail of how far things fell.
It's a difficult quote.
It is. It describes a choice when resources are gone and people start looking to their own children for sustenance.
And that's what cements him, Lord of the Wild. It's about that total, absolute breakdown of morality.
So from drought, we move to famine and disease with the second figure, Eber, the plague maw.
His land was already barren, left over from the old ones. And then disease hit, and starvation followed almost immediately.
The sources say men started looking at their brothers and sisters with a hungry eye.
Yes, it went beyond simple survival. Eber and his people, they started consuming life essence itself, specifically from the young and the innocent.
He became the mouth of the masses.
Feeding the strong with the weak. It's a horrifying but brutally direct system of survival.
The third figure, Volkur, her relationship with death was different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
The Chronicle says that for most, death is a thief or a slow vine. But for Volkur, the unbreathing queen, it was a toy.
She just saw it as an obstacle, something to be manipulated.
Exactly. She raised an army of soulless corpses. She turned the fundamental law of nature into a puppet show, a puppetry of the flesh.
Her title was She of Many Bodies, uniting all flesh, living or dead.
There was no distinction for her.
And that brings us to the fourth, the one who really engineered the final escape, Inya, the unbearable whispers.
Her ruin wasn't physical.
Yeah.
It was intellectual. She just consumed knowledge.
Yeah.
Devoured every page she could find.
But the knowledge grew so vast that her wisdom, her ability to make sense of it all,
It buckled. It slipped away. She became the infinite mind, but unbound by sanity.
Okay, so we have 4 monsters, really. Each one created by consuming something. Blood, flesh, death, knowledge. How did they come together?
This is where we get to the final bargain. It's all laid out in India's dark tome. Her message to the others.
The sky is turning black, the end is coming. But she's found a way out.
A forbidden technique. To prolong their existence by fracturing their very souls.
So each of them would hold a piece of the others.
Exactly. Mutual, unbreakable dependency. It's a kind of immortality, but a shared one. None of them can die unless they all die together.
But it had a price. Life granted requires life be paid.
And Inya is chillingly clear. It need not be any of ours.
They were told to bring their most loyal and healthy retainers.
And to say goodbye to everyone else.
Yeah.
Because it would not be seeing them again.
The urgency in her words is, you can feel it. Make haste and do not speak of where you are going.
They knew. They knew that if word got out, their own followers would tear them apart for a chance at that salvation.
And the final result. The death mask memory describes the sky tearing apart, black on blue.
As existence itself ended, they found a fragment, a void, a safe haven. And they waited there as it all began again.
Earning their title.
Enemies of fate.
Okay, let's start to unpack this. We need to do the forensic work now. Each of them started by responding to a crisis, a necessity, but their motivations all converged on one thing.
Absolute self-preservation.
But what was the psychological shift? How do you go from a desperate ruler trying to save your people to being willing to do this?
I think the shift is from managing a resource to consuming an existence. Uriel started by trying to manage a water shortage. Eber, a food shortage.
But they abandoned civilized solutions very quickly.
They did. They learned that the only way to maintain control was to become the corruption itself. Uriel became the feral king of his twisted jungle. Eber became the mouth that fed on life force.
And what about Inya? Her drive wasn't physical, it was all about knowledge.
Right. And her greatest fear wasn't dying. It was the end of consciousness, the end of learning. So her insane, unbalanced scholarship, she used it to engineer the ultimate escape from the end of time.
So their individual horrors actually prepared them for the pact.
It's fascinating, isn't it? They had already proven they were willing to consume anything to survive. So consuming the loyalty and the life force of their followers, it was just the last transaction.
Because the alternative was total erasure.
The stakes were absolute.
This idea of fractured souls, though, it raises huge questions about their power dynamic now. Are they free? Or are they slaves to each other?
It's a state of existential collateral. That's the best way I can describe it. They aren't just allies. They're fused.
Meaning one can't be destroyed without destroying them all.
Which means every single decision has to be, in some way, ratified by the group. It's the ultimate defense against betrayal from within. They traded their individual power for collective, absolute survival.
And the first thing they did with that collective power was use it against their most loyal followers.
A deepest cut.
Why them, specifically? Why the most loyal and healthy retainers? Why not enemies or prisoners?
Because the pact required a specific quality of life. They weren't just paying with bodies. They were paying with belief, with vigor, with loyalty.
So the energy had to be pure.
The purest they could find, offered by those most dedicated to them. It made the sacrifice that much more potent. They bought their immortality with the best of what was left of their world.
And the secrecy, the command not to speak of it, that just underscores the cynicism, doesn't it?
Oh, completely. The second they revealed their plan, the greatest asset, those loyal followers, would have become their single greatest threat.
The entire pact is built on a foundation of betrayal.
Massive, immediate betrayal. It's an exercise of power over hope, over loyalty itself, and it tells you everything you need to know about their character.
Let's talk about the ultimate consequence then. The Death Mask source says they didn't just survive the end of their world, they survived the end of time itself.
Yes. They stepped outside, into a void outside of linear existence, and just waited for it all to start up again.
That's what it means to be enemies of fate.
It is. They didn't just cheat death, they broke the entire cosmic cycle. They exist outside of it now. They've seen patterns of creation and collapse that, we, inside time, we can't possibly grasp.
So what does that mean for you, for the listener, in practical terms? Does this make them prophets? Can they see the future?
They're more dangerous than prophets. Think of them as forensic historians of reality itself.
Because they remember.
They remember. They've seen past cycles. They know the specific pressures that cause a drought, the precise moment morality shatters, the political failings that lead to ruin. Their knowledge isn't guesswork. It's memory.
They're immune to the surprise of chaos.
Exactly. And that brings us to that last chilling warning from the source.
They know your mind because they remember.
The implication there is just staggering.
Yeah.
Their knowledge isn't just about events. It's about the patterns of consciousness, of existence itself.
If they remember how reality dissolves, their perspective on our current reality isn't just observational.
It's based on expectation. That terrifying library of how things fall apart,
Yeah.
that's the most powerful weapon they have.
So this has been a deep dive into absolute self-preservation. From four desperate rulers to these four immortal entities fused together.
Who traded the lives and loyalty of their followers for a place outside of time? It's a stark look at the price of survival when morality is taken off the table.
And that leaves us with one final thought for you to consider.
The Pale Council paid for their escape with loyalty and vitality. In return, they got immortality and knowledge from surviving entire cosmic cycles.
Yeah.
So if the price for their initial survival was the suffering of the innocent, what is the ongoing cost for their presence in this cycle?
Is that memory of collapse just a memory?
Or is it a weapon? Is it something they are actively using to shape this world right now?
An unsettling thought to end on. We'll be back soon for another deep dive.